In this tutorial, we'll create a romantic anime scene inspired by the fragrant flower blooms with dignity, using After Effects. This idea was inspired by a viewer's request, so today I'll show you how to recreate a romantic anime scene like this. We'll go through color adjustment, creating soft bubble effects, and finishing with lighting and color grading to achieve a clean, professional atmosphere. All the assets and the final After Effects project file are available in the description below for you to download. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to support the channel. Now, let's get started. All right, start by creating a new composition at 24 frames per second. Here, a high-quality background is already prepared, and the character animation is fully set up with keyframes ready to use for this cut. First, duplicate the character layer and rename it to Distance. I will apply the distance gradation effect to create a subtle dark outline around the character, helping it stand out from the background during color grading. To prepare for the color transition, split the character layer into two parts around frame 35 and rename them for better organization. Next, duplicate another layer and name it Color Change. You can lock the original layers to avoid accidental edits. On this new layer, apply Magic Bullet Looks to handle the color grading. Open the Edit panel to access the workspace. Start by adding a gradient, then go back to the controls and adjust the values to achieve the desired color tone. Next, tweak the X and Y values to control how the color spreads across the character. You can follow the reference settings if you want. Then increase the exposure to around 2 to brighten the overall image. Once the base color looks good, add a bit of shadows and highlights to improve depth. Use the same approach in the Tools panel and adjust accordingly. Finally, add a slight contrast boost to make the image pop a bit more. Apply the setting and let's check the result. Next, add opacity keyframes to create a smoother color transition. Keep the maximum value around 80% so the color doesn't get too strong. You can press F9 on both keyframes and adjust the graph to make the transition feel more natural. With that done, let's move on to creating the bubble effects like in the original anime. First, use the Shape tool to draw a circle in a suitable position. Set the opacity to around 50%. Then apply a 4 color gradient for the color. You can follow the original anime as a reference for the color setup. Next, duplicate the layer and set the opacity back to 100%. Remove the gradient and apply bevel and emboss. In advanced blending, reduce the fill opacity to 0, and you'll start to see the highlight. Then adjust the settings. Set size to around 40, soften to about 10, and tweak the angle, highlight, and shadow opacity. Now pre-compose these two layers and name it Bubble. Then pre-compose it again and name it Mask. Draw a circular mask in the center, switch it to Subtract, and set the feather to around 100. Go back to the main comp and change the blending mode to Screen. Now it blends much better. Next, reduce the opacity to around 30% and add keyframes so it fades in smoothly. Use F9 and adjust the graph for better motion. Then add position keyframes for subtle movement. Keep it minimal around 10 units per axis so the motion stays slow and natural. Duplicate the layer, adjust the scale, and tweak the keyframes to create another bubble variation. Finally, using the same approach, multiple bubble elements have been created like this. Feel free to add or adjust them to better fit your scene. Now that the base is done, create a new comp called Filter to handle color grading and lighting, making everything look more polished and cinematic. Start with Magic Bullet Looks. For color grading, Begin with a gradient to create an overall color overlay. You can follow the settings shown here. Next, add optical diffusion to slightly brighten the character area. Keep it subtle to avoid overexposure or losing facial details. Then apply a fall is here LUT with a strength of around 30%. After that, add brightness and contrast, increasing both values by about 10. Create an adjustment layer on top and use exposure to balance the lighting. Finally, set the opacity to around 35% for a softer effect. Next, duplicate the original footage, move it to the top, and remove all effects we added before. I will use the color key to isolate darker areas in the character's hair. Then apply Minimax effect to soften the edges of the character. Add a glow effect to enhance brightness, and set the glow operation to screen. Then, fine-tune the lighting using levels, and here you should adjust based on your preference. Finally, apply a subtle bilateral blur to the entire scene. Lower the opacity to around 40% and set the blending mode to screen to complete the look. At this point, everything looks really solid. Finally, to complete the scene, create a new solid to add some light patches to the outer background. First, adjust the color using a fill effect to match the overall tone. Then use the mask tool to define the areas where the light should appear. Set the feather to around 500 for all masks to create a soft, diffused look. After that, change the blending mode to add so the light blends naturally with the background. To keep everything in sync, add opacity keyframes so the light gradually fades in over time. Similarly, use Easy Ease for keyframes and adjust the graph for better motion. Then duplicate the layer and fine-tune it further to balance the composition. Just like before, adjust the color and define the necessary mask areas to fit each part of the scene. Depending on your artistic preference, you can adjust and add more lighting details to make the scene look better. In general, the more time you invest, the more polished and visually rich your scene will become. If the character edges look a bit too sharp, go back to the distance layer and increase the blur slightly to soften them. Alright, now let's check out the final result.